Hey guys, so I've just gone live with this video over on my Facebook page, Marianne Hanson, counsellor and coach, but I thought I'd make a video for my YouTube channel because that is what I'm about. I want my subscribers to be able to engage, for you to be able to gain information from the topics that I talk about. So today what I want to talk about is loving someone who has depression. So as you probably know, if you've been following me for quite a while, you'll know that I've talked about my sister and her struggle with depression in a few of my videos. I've been a counsellor since 2009, but prior to that, I think some of my feelings and thoughts, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about what depression was or the impact of depression. And that's the first thing really what I want to talk about is, if you love someone, whether it's your partner, a family member, a friend, and they have depression, it really is useful for you to learn about depression, to gain the knowledge. So what I would say to you is, don't waste time. View it as being a positive thing. So the more I learn, the more I know about this person, the more it's going to help them and it's going to help me, because I'll understand them more. We can't assume, even as a counsellor, when someone comes to see me, I can't just assume I know that what their depression means to them or the impact it has on them. You know, it's just not like that. You have to learn the knowledge, but you also ask the person. The second thing is to support the person. It might be practical. You might just go to their doctor's appointments with them. Maybe you go drop them off at their counselling session. Maybe it's walking around the park, doing exercise with them. There's lots of things you can do, but you can also provide emotional support. So for people with depression, sometimes they feel alone, isolated. They feel no one understands them. They will try and push you away. I remember with my sister, if I phoned her up and said, do you want to come out, to go for lunch, do this, it would always be no. So what I had to do is get a bit more creative. So I would turn up at her house and I'd have trainers ready for her. I'd have drinks, and I'd say, come on, let's go around the park. And she'd be like, no. But then I'd say, come on, if you don't want to get out the car when we get there, that's fine. You can sit in the car. If you just want to walk around the park once and come back, we can. And that was my way of helping her to get out of the house, and it usually worked. Number 3 is to recognise the signs when someone is going deeper into their depression. So your role is not to judge the person, but if you're around people for long enough, then there's usually a pattern. The pattern might be when they start to drink alcohol, I notice that their depression gets worse. When they're around certain people, their depression gets worse. When they go to certain environments, when it's a particular time of the year. If you pick up on the patterns, you can feed that back to the person you love, and you can help them to help themselves. Because if they recognise a pattern, then the two of you can come up with a plan. So you might say, Saturday nights is a trigger point for my friend or my family member. So on Saturday nights, we will do movie nights together. Whatever it is, you're putting in a plan of action together. The 4th thing is work with the person, not against them. So sometimes people with depression can feel like everyone is blaming them. You know, why have you not done the housework? I'm sick of you always being tired, you know, and we can't ever go anywhere. I'm sick of you always being in bed all the time. Now, most partners are going to have compassion, and they're not going to say it in that sort of way, but in their mind, they might be thinking, oh, I didn't sign up for this, you know, I'm with this person and the depression is taking over. It doesn't help the person with depression, because then they just feel guilty and they just feel worse. It actually makes them feel worse, because it's something they don't want to lie in bed all day. They don't want to not be able to make a cup of tea or to do things. So your role should be to separate the depression from the person and to say, we're going to fight this. What are we going to do about this? What strategies can I put in place to help you? How can we tackle this? And the 5th thing, which is similar, is to separate the person's behaviour from the depression. One of the mistakes I made with my sister was every time she would do something or say something, I would say, that's because of her depression. As a family, we'd say, she's doing that because of her depression. My mum would constantly say, that's because she has depression. And it got to a point where I had to be like, well, no, I'm not being fair on my sister. She's an individual in her own right. Sometimes she's going to be moody. Sometimes she's going to have a bad attitude. Sometimes she's going to be silly. She's going to be a bit playful. She's going to be this, that. That's her personality, and she has the right to be like that. I can't say that's because she has depression. So you can work with the person where you can actually say, is your behaviour, do you think this is due to what's going on for you at the moment? Or you can just work it out, but don't assume. That's the key thing to take from this. Don't assume anything about someone's depression. It's your role to learn more. It's your role to ask questions. It's your role to support the person, to try to find yourself in their shoes. You never really can be in someone else's shoes, but try to imagine what it must feel like for them. I did that a lot with my sister, where I used to sit and think, what does it feel like for her to be in her flat a lot of the time on her own? What does it feel like for my sister to have these intrusive thoughts coming into her head? What must it feel like for someone who doesn't want to see the world, or when they're around they're always awkward or feeling uncomfortable and that? So once you start to imagine what it feels like for them, you can then get a better understanding of why they do what they do. So the key thing is just provide the support, be there for that person, recognise that you love them and you want the best for them, and then just go from there. So I hope you found this video useful. Please feel free to like, to share and to subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Take care. Bye.